buenas, queridos amigos, oyentes y audiencia de los canales La Caja de Pandora y Arquetipo Raúl Durán. Nos encontramos en Israel, en el kibbutz Givat Haim, ¿es that correct? Givat Haim, en Israel, y estamos con Victoria Hanna. Victoria Hanna es una artista, una persona humanista, multicultural, y ha desarrollado una actividad absolutamente extraordinaria en la investigación de las 22 letras hebreas. Haciendo una investigación acerca de las 22 letras hebreas, descubrí su trabajo y quedé absolutamente fascinado. Y uno de los motivos por venir a Israel fue precisamente tener un encuentro con ella para poder charlar y que me explicara exactamente en qué consistía su investigación, cómo llegó a ella, qué resultados ha obtenido, cómo ha afectado a su vida, a la vida de otros. Ha grabado un álbum musical que está basado en el poder de las 22 letras hebreas y de los textos sagrados antiguos hebreos. Ahora lo vamos a ver. Y sin más vamos a saludarla ya. Victoria Hanna, Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Alecha. I don't know what you said, but everything you said is right.
I'm sure. Victoria,
yes, dear.
As you very know, I am amazed with the work you do about the Hebrew letters. So I discovered you doing my research about the Hebrew letters, and then I saw how do you investigate the sound of the letters according, I suppose, and you explain now, the ancient texts of Hebrew, the Sefer Yetzirah, the Zohar HaKadosh, and all the texts. So how is the beginning of this story in your life? How do you become curious about the letters?
God gave me a great gift. He gave me a handicap.
Right.
I was a stuttering child. Every time I wanted to say a word out of my mouth, it got stuck in my mouth. Speech problem. And this was the greatest gift. It allowed me to go deep. What happened before a syllable is being pronounced in order to go into the final goal, which is to bring the word out.
To bring the word out.
The word out.
The word out. But this is
because even when I say the word, okay, as a stuttering person, you want to say word, and it's very easy word, but then it gets stuck. Okay?
Right.
And then it's a great gift. Then you say, wow, it's a big process. I take it for granted. I think it's word. But no, first there is a silence. Then from the silence comes the intention to express something very specific. Then from this intention, the mouth is preparing itself to create the W, the W of this specific word, the W. So everything is being prepared. And then the voice is coming. And then the R is coming. And then the D is coming. D. And then you say, wow. If you look at it in a microscope, it's a big event. It's very important to take this vibration and not to take it for granted and to say, okay, this is my vibration that I'm using. What is it? How can I empower myself intentionally,
yeah.
in a conscious way with this specific vibration, and every time I use it, I empower myself. Now every letter, every vibration, every syllable, every vowel has a specific quality. And a combination of those specific qualities with another specific quality, with another specific quality, this combination is a choreography. Is a choreography of the mouth. And this choreography of the mouth is a movement in the space and is also a sound. it's a specific sound. That, you know, even if we take a specific sound, it has a lot of qualities. Every sound has many different qualities. So you can grow up with it. It doesn't mean that it is like a flat. You can work with it.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
How can a person take this information for his or her personal development?
Mm-hmm.
How can you think a person can go deeper into her or his name, the energy, the sound, as you said, and sort of elevate this energy or doing better?
Yeah, I think first, you know the concept mantra.
Yeah.
Mantra is a kind of Indian concept, but it's a very common in many ancient traditions. It's the power of the pronunciation, which is beyond the meaning. It's the power of the vibration of something. So I think we should treat each person should do. I mean, my suggestion is to do a journey, a personal journey with your own name,
right,
and to treat your name as a mantra. To speak it over, to speak it over, to feel it, to speak it over, to inherit it again, to re-inherit it.
Wow.
Yeah. And to take every syllable and every letter in your name and to embrace it and to say, what is this for me? Okay? So we take your name, for example. Your name is Raúl. Okay? I mean, it's very, I can talk with you about every name for 10 hours.
Yeah.
But I will give you a general explanation. Okay. So first, I look at your name or at one person's name only from the concept of the vowels. And the vowels, when I say Raúl, Raúl, vowel-wise, I do ah, and then after the ah, I do ooh. Now, this is one movement. Ah, that becomes ooh. Okay? Now, the ah, the action of the ah, when we say ah, ah, it's a complete wide opening. This is the action. Is open. Is patah. Patah in Hebrew is to open. Liftoah. So your name starts with a complete opening, and then the u is like the tzimtzum, like the narrowness. Okay. Ooh. So first, I can tell you, in your name there is this action, complete wide opening, and then gathering it all together, and with a lot of concentration, directing it in a very concentrated, narrow. Ooh. This
almost like a dot.
Exactly. This is one of the actions, the qualities of the sound of Raúl. Ta, 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 tu, ta. Okay, now we are going to the consonants. Okay, so we have the R, resh. What is the movement of the resh? What do you feel? What is the action? The action is movement. It almost never ends, right? So your name starts with this, with an action. The beginning of your name is an action, movement going forward with the A. What can be, I mean, it's very powerful.
It is indeed.
The powerful A with R. Ra, ra, okay? Then, where do you go with this? Where do you go with this? In your case, you go with all of the power. You go with the opening, all of the power. You go to the Aleph, to the U, the Aleph, Raúl. What is the Aleph? The Aleph is the first letter. It's the whole space before the word was created. You have one dot here, one hand is going here, one leg here, it's the whole space. It's the one and the eternity. Echad Ein Sof. Okay, so this is, with all of this power of the R, Ra, you go into the Aleph. You go into the Aleph. And it's not only that you go into the Aleph, you're doing it with the U. Ra, U, okay? You go back, and you do it in a very, very secret way, in a very discreet place, in a very intimate place, in a very sharp, in a very direct, okay? And then you have the Lamed, the L, Raúl. The L, when I'm doing Lamed, I take my tongue and I put it up. La 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 la. So the action of the Lamed is to lift up. It's like hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I take the Hey and I lift it up into the Yud. Okay? So this is the way to look at your own name. You have the Resh that opens up, the Ra. Then you go directly into the Aleph. You go back into the source of the source of the source. You pronounce it you inject it in a very, very precise, narrow way, and then you lift it up. I don't know you well enough to tell you exactly what it means, but this is a clue for you to work with. How do you empower yourself every time you say the word Raúl? You feel your energy with the Ra.
Yeah.
You feel your connection with the Aleph. You feel your intention to be very, very precise with the U, and the intention to go up with the Lamed.
The U is the Vav, or what?
What?
The Vav.
The Vav is the U, because the Vav can be O.
Right.
When you put the dot up, it becomes O, because the O is going up. O, and when you put the dot in the middle, it's ooh, it connects, but in a different way.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. In these points, I asked to ask you about this interesting job you did for the Berkeley University in California.
Yeah.
You remember we were chatting a little bit yesterday, and for me it captures my attention immediately about the amulets.
Yeah.
So can you explain us a little bit what did you do there, and what for, and what the purpose of your searching of your journey?
I was invited by Professor Francesco Spagnolo from the Berkeley University to do a residency in the Magnus Museum collection, and in this museum they have a collection of a lot of ancient Hebrew amulets that are basically combinations of many different kind of letters and names of angels, and each amulet is like a tool of protection in the house, for a woman who is going to give birth, and they are from a long time ago, for many places in the world with Hebrew letters. And actually, it was an artistic action. It wasn't a scientific action. To go, to look at those ancient amulets and to try to sing them. What does it mean? To try to create, to treat them as they were partitura.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So, yeah.
What results did you get? What experiences?
Yeah.
What insights did you get from this?
You know, I grew up because my father was a rabbi, my father of blessed memory. So I grew up with the feeling that the letters are a tool of protection. When I woke up in the morning, I could find combinations of letters, of angels, under my pillow. My father, I could find a time when I feel a little bit dizzy, that he would take names of angels into a glass of water. He would stir it, and I need to drink the water. So I grew up with the Psalms, for example. The Psalms, Orthodox Jewish people, they treat the Psalms as a first aid tool. If somebody is sick, you open the Psalms, there is a special chapter only with letters, and you choose the letters of your name and you just pronounce it. So I grew up with it. It's not something new for me. But I never explained to myself what it is. We took it for granted. Now I'm asking myself, what does it mean? Is it nonsense? Is it right? What does it mean? And I'm getting into the point of what I told you, that when you are connected with the power of the sound and with the meaning of the sound consciously, you can create a kind of protection, or you can create a kind of connection, because we are using sound all of the time. All of us as human beings, we use this speech, we use words. Everywhere we go outside in the city, we see letters, combinations of letters in many languages. We are full of this information. What is it? Is it only for us to grab merchandise from other people, or to absorb information? We can decide that we want consciously to absorb power, to absorb knowledge. You know, when we look at letters, at combinations of letters, when we look at them intentionally, with intention, I realized that we can hear the vibration inside. So vibration is not only a pronunciation. Vibration is something that when we see it, we hear it. And this is what you teach also, that I mean, the changes happen in the consciousness. When you know, I want to take it and I want to use it for my growth, for my protection, for my empowerment, you know. For Jewish people, the greatest protection is Shema Yisrael. I mean, every time that something will happen, they will say it immediately. This is a protection. Shema Yisrael, Adonam, I don't say Elokenu, Adonam Ehad. And my father, he used to memorize it all of the time. when my children were babies, he would call them by phone and sing it to them. He say, "Give me the baby," and then I would hear him pouring the mantra into their ear. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elokeinu, Adonai Echad, Shema Yisrael. So I'm used, for the letters and from this mantra to be a kind of something that I am in relationship with. And there is a reason why we say that life and death are in the tongue. It's a tool. And if we're talking about parallel worlds, always you're talking about parallel worlds, there is this world and this world. So, if in the book of creation it is written that the world was created by the big mouth of God, we are our structure is like the big structure.
Yeah.
Okay?
The micro and micro.
Exactly. The microstructure is like the macro structure. So we can also create with our mouth.
Yeah.
If the world was created with a mouth, we also have a mouth. It's a tool of creation. It's a very powerful, but we don't realize, we take it for granted.
That's exactly that you were telling me before about the concept of the river and the mouth.
Exactly.
So can you tell me about this, the river and the mouth?
Yeah. In the Zohar, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who wrote it, he was praising the mouth before he died. Before he died, he was crying. He praised the mouth. And to say mouth in Hebrew is peh. You feel the mouth when you say peh. Peh. Okay? In Aramaic, which is also the language of the Zohar is written in Aramaic. It's very similar to Hebrew, but different.
Right.
In Hebrew, the word mouth is peh. Let's say peh. 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 You feel the mouth, right? Okay. In Aramaic is puma. 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 And then Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, before he died, he praised the mouth. And he say, puma, puma, mouth, mouth. Dezachita lechol hai. You are privileged for all of these things. La angivu mabuach. Your fountain would never get dried. Mabuach nafik vela pasik. This opening is creating and never stops. Alech karinan, about your mouth, we used to read this phrase from the Sefer Bereshit, from the Bible, from ונהר יוצא מעדן להשקות את הגן. A fountain is going from Eden to give, to feed with water, to water the trees, to water the garden. Okay? Puma, 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 pe, 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 pe. Puma, 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 pe, 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 pe. Puma, 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 pe, 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 pe. Puma, 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 pe, 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 pe. pe, 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 pe. וזכית לכל העיר, לאנגיבו מבוח, מבוח נפיק ולפסיק. פומה, 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 פה, 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 פה. פומה, 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 פה, 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 פה. פומה, 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 פה, 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 פה. פומה, 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 פה, 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 פה. עלך קרינן, alech karinan, alech karinan, alech karinan, alech karinan, alech karinan, karinan. Puma, 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 pe, 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 pe. Puma, 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 pe, 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 pe. Puma, 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 pe, 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 pe. Puma, 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 pe, 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 pe. Pe, 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 pe. ונהר יוצא מעדן להשקות את הגן, את הגן. Puma, 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 pe, 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 pe. Puma, 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 pe, 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 pe. Pe, 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 pe. וזכית לכל העיר, להנגיבו מבוח, מבוח נפיק ולפסי. פומה, 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 פה, 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 פה. Puma, 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 pe, 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 pe. Puma, 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 pe, pe, pe.
Amazing. You have created.
It's a glorifying,
Yeah.
glorifying the mouth.
Yeah. You have created a multiverse now with this action, no? In a way, no? And this is what Rabbi.
It's going to come in my next album. It's
This song.
already recorded, yeah.
So this is coming from a sacred text as well.
Yes, yes, yes. It's from the Zohar.
From the Zohar.
This is the text that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was saying before he died, before his soul came up.
And crying.
And he crying, and he was saying, mouth, mouth, you have this privilege,
Right.
and your fountain never stops, and it's like, you know, it's like, look at this garden.
Yeah.
It's like a river that give water to all of the garden. And what happened in the Garden of Eden? Fruits are coming. And this is also, you know, Rabbi Avraham Abulafia. There is a very beautiful text that I like, that I used to memorize as a mantra. Let me remember it. זאת המערכה מתגלגלת בעיגול, ומתולדות פירותיה נשרשים שורשים של אילני גן עדן, ונצמח בתוכם עץ החיים. So it's also about the tree and the movement that is going on that make the tree flourish. This is our food. This is our food. We are being nourished. It's like a nutrition.
Yes.
It's like a nutrition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Victoria. Can you tell us a little bit about your projects in the future? What are you working in this moment on?
I'm recording my second album. My first album, which was released in Israel, is going to be released in Europe.
In Spain?
In the summer, hopefully also in Spain. Yeah.
Good.
And performances around the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, many video works that are about to come.
Okay, and what about the workshops?
Workshops, of course. Yeah, you
Which
know.
I'm particularly interested in.
Yeah. You know, I don't see myself as a teacher. I more see myself as a composer and as an artist and as a vocalist. Yeah. But I find myself teaching also somehow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to give 2 workshops in Europe. One in May, middle of May, in Switzerland, in the nature.
Right.
Both workshops are in the nature. The second workshop is going to be in the Netherlands, also in the natures. And these are few days. Each workshop is few days. It's a very deep work that we are connecting with the nature and the letters. You know, every letter is located in another place in the body. So we are going to explore that. We are going to pronounce a lot. We are going to work with our body, with the earth, with trees, with the sky, with all of the elements, connecting it with sound and letters. Basically, I mean, in this work we are embodying the language in order to connect, to reconnect with our natural connection with sound, but we forget it.
Mm-hmm. So these workshops, one in Switzerland, the other one in Netherlands.
Yes.
One of them in May.
Yeah.
And the second one
in June.
In June. That's
Yeah.
perfect. So all the audience can then inscribe themselves if they are interested, which I recommend you very much to go. All the audience.
Hi.
Please go to the workshops. I will be there. I think for sure in one of them.
Wow.
And it's my intention also to cooperate to bring you to Spain to give some workshops there. So.
You know, I'm very much excited to see someone like you. Really, it warmed my heart. My heart, who is coming from another country, from another culture, and feels so connected with this light. And I want it. It's very, very powerful.
Baruch Hashem.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Thank you very much for giving us this time for you, and it was my pleasure. I hope to see you very soon.
Yes.
Thank you very much.